All right, recording in three, two, and one.
This is number three of number three. There's going to
Number
be some
three.
controversy and some laughs.
Number three. Welcome to
Repeat.
episode 210 of Nerdery Murdering.
Big 210. I'm Zig with your nerdery.
And I'm Jeffrey with your murdery. Welcome to another week of the highs and lows, the ups, the down, the good and the bad, and the nerd and the murd. Pick us off, Zig.
Okay. As we have said in the previous two episodes, we are talking about power ballads. This is part three of three. And again, we put this criteria towards power ballads. The agreement is it should hit five of the six. That is, it has to have power chords. It has to have a bluesy rock guitar solo, kind of heavy or heavy, which is where the power part of the ballad comes from, the power ballad. It has to be. It has to have the tits sung off of it. It needs to have some good soaring vocals. It needs to get stuck in your head. It needs to be about lost or unrequited love or fear of love, and it needs to be a little bit cheesy at the same time. So, as we said before, I gave some of the history of the power ballad. This is the third part. The American rock band Styx has been credited with releasing the first true power ballad, the song Lady, in 1973. Its writer Dennis DeYoung is called the father of the power ballad. In the 1980s, bands such as Journey and REO Speedwagon contributed to the power ballad becoming a staple of hard rock performances who wanted to gain more radio airplay and satisfy their female audience members with a slower, more emotional love song. Motley Crue was one of the bands showcased the style with such songs as Home Sweet Home and You're All I Need. Nearly every hard rock and glam metal band wrote at least one power ballad for each album, and recorded labels often releasing these as the album's second single. So there was a formula for a lot of the quote unquote hair metal bands. What we like to refer to as the Steel Dragon Way. The first song in this list is none of that. It is Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. Uh, Philip David Charles Collins, born January the 30th of 1951, is an English drummer, singer, songwriter, record producer, and actor. He was the drummer and later became the lead singer for the rock band Genesis and had a successful solo career, achieving 3 UK number one singles and 7 US number one singles as a solo artist. In total, his work with Genesis, other artists, and solo resulted in more than 40 uh, more US top 40 singles than any other artist throughout the 80s. I'm sorry, I
Hmm?
said that all wrong. His most successful single from this period include In the Air Tonight. It is the debut solo single by English drummer and singer-songwriter Phil Collins. It was released as the lead singer from Collins' debut solo album, Face Value, in January 1981. It was selected as the second single from the album in the US and Canada after I Missed Again. Collins co-produced In the Air Tonight with Hugh Paddingham, who became a frequent collaborator over the following years. A couple of other things I know about this. He recorded this with his former bandmate Peter Gabriel, who was experimenting with basically backward cymbal sounds. Phil came out to Pete's place and he's like, "Hey, dude, check this out." And so Phil played a bunch of cymbals. Pete recorded them backwards, and they both used them for a long time. So when you hear that backward cymbal sound, that's actually Phil Collins playing it and Peter Gabriel recording it, and they kept those tracks forever. Which is why you will the song In the Air Tonight never sounds right in concert because it uses backward cymbals, and you can't really get that sound live. You can't suck the sound out of it. um, Still a good song live. Um, what do you think about? Well, I know what you think about all these songs. You gave me all of these
Yeah.
songs.
Who doesn't know this song? It's one of the most well-known drum pieces of all time.
Yeah,
Um,
but
it
no,
it
really isn't a guitar solo. There is a
no,
drum solo in
no, there is
this.
a drum solo. It became immensely well known by being on the Miami Vice soundtrack.
Hmm.
Which was that's a great episode where it's listed and then it's on
Yeah,
the
they play the
soundtrack.
whole fucking song
Yeah,
where they're just driving down the road in that
yeah,
fake Mazda or Ferrari.
Ferrari. They have a Ferrari and a Lamborghini.
Yeah, Ferrari made
I
him
think
stop using the Ferrari because it wasn't a real Ferrari. It was
yeah,
a kit car.
because I think Tubbs goes to a Cadillac at one point. Um,
Oh yeah, Tubbs always drove that 1960 Cadillac.
yeah. Um, but it's so a little background here, because you opened this door, so I'm gonna step through it. Um, Peter Gabriel left Genesis, not because they hated each other,
No.
um, because he was wanting to do more theatrics in their live shows than the rest of the band wanted. The rest of the band just wanted to play. They just wanted to entertain. And Peter Gabriel really wanted to do theatrics. So they split apart and Peter Gabriel went on his own. Um, as Genesis continued, and Genesis is one of the most successful bands of all time. I plan to cover them at some point.
I
Maybe,
figured, yeah, 225's coming up.
yeah,
Just saying.
yeah. I don't know if I'll do it for that or not. But one of the most successful of all time. Phil Collins left to go on his own, not because they hated each other, just he wanted to do some stuff on his own. He had some stuff he was going. Mike Rutherford had Mike and the Mechanics, and they were doing some stuff. Tony Banks had a band. They all had hits on their own.
Yes, they did.
Um, Phil Collins, the highest chart topper of all of them. Um, but uh, it's not surprising to hear that Peter Gabriel helped him with this song. They all stayed friends. They've remained friends over the years. They've tried to get the band back together with Peter Gabriel, and it didn't work out with timing and with schedules, and so they've never been able to do it. But this song is amazing.
Hmm.
Again, one of the most well-known drum pieces of all time. If you haven't seen it, and how have you not, see The Hangover when they're doing it with Mike Tyson. That's hysterical.
But Ow, he knocks that motherfucker out.
Everybody knows this song. It was a great song and definitely a power ballad.
Yes. Uh, Again, but it fits. Oh my God, this only fits four of the criteria.
Yeah,
There is no.
I think four is enough for a power ballad.
Um, it has power chords because they're
It's
playing in the
not
background.
it's
Again,
not cheesy.
it's not cheesy,
No.
but it does hit everything else. He does
Yes.
sing the fucking tits off this song.
Well, because Phil Collins can. He just does.
Yeah.
He's an amazing singer.
Well, the next one. This is going to cause some controversy. I hate this song. I hate this song so much. I hated this song when it was out. The next song, and I know Jeffrey loves it. The next song is Amanda by Boston.
This
They're an
song,
American.
go ahead,
They're
go ahead.
they're an American rock band formed in Boston, Massachusetts in 1975 by Tom Schultz, who is a certifiable genius. Let's just get it out there.
Yeah, I
The
don't even
band's
remember how many doctorates he holds.
Yeah, the core members include multi instrumentalist founder and leader Tom Schultz, who played the majority of instruments on the band's 1976 self-titled debut album, and former lead vocalist Brad Delp, among a number of the other musicians who vary from album to album. Amanda is a power ballad by American rock band Boston. It was written by Tom Schultz. The song was released as the first single from the band's third album, Third Stage, in 1986, 6 years after it was recorded. So, wow, I did not realize that. They recorded this song in 1980.
Yes.
Although the song did not have a promotional music video, Amanda became the band's highest charting single in the United States and Canada. In the United States, the single entered the Billboard Hot 100 on September 27th and topped the charts in November of 1986 for 2 consecutive weeks, the band's only number one on the Hot 100. It also reached number one for 3 consecutive weeks on the mainstream rock charts in October of the same year, while in Canada, the single topped RPM magazine's top singles and adult contemporary charts. What do you think about Amanda by Boston?
We're gonna go back to high school again for me.
Okay.
Once
So
again, remember,
1986,
I
late
know,
1986.
I
So it would
oh,
be
I
the year
trust me, I know
86,
when this
87.
came out.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know when this came out. So I was introduced into Boston my freshman year of high school. That's when I heard them for the first time. And then they came
Nerd
out.
band. They're a nerd band.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
absolutely. And I was in band, and it was the band guys that introduced me to Boston. I was introduced to their first two albums, loved them, went out and got them on cassette. Um, and then Third Stage came out. So remember last episode, The Girl? Here's another one.
Not the same girl.
Same girl.
It is the same girl.
Yeah, yeah,
How you doing, sweetheart?
yeah.
She knows
Um,
who she is. She's listening right now.
yeah, she is. She's a listener. Um, this is another one that's always in my playlist. I'm a huge Boston fan, and they have had many hits. Amanda was very different for them. Amanda was big change of pace for what they did previously. This is on Third Stage. I don't remember if you said that or not. This is on their
Yes,
album
third
Third
stage.
Stage. And there's another song on Third Stage, which is almost like a reprise of Amanda. It's kind of a second take of it, and that's called Holly Ann. Holly Ann is a beautiful song. I love Holly Ann. And ever since Third Stage, they've seemed to put a song on their album each time because they're still doing albums. I think there's a new one coming out where they're trying to recapture the magic of Amanda because Amanda was a hit, and I was trying to find them all because there was one called Magdalene that was on their fourth album.
Walks
I can't
on.
find it. Yes, Walks On Magdalene. Then on their and then there was the song I Need Your Love, which was another one. So they've continued on the power ballad on every album since. And I fully expect if I'm right that they've got another one coming out, or maybe they just had another one come out. They do it again because they really embrace the power ballad. It allows um, Tom Schultz to really showcase his
Versatility.
versatility. Thank you. But Amanda was great. I love Amanda. I heard that so many times on dark buses coming back from a football game because, it would come on the radio. It was a huge hit for Boston. It took them out of the classic rock genre into the pop genre. But now they're back to the more the classic rock genre. I love this song. Again, this one is always in any playlist I make because I absolutely love this song. They just they kill with this one. I love it.
I do not.
I know you
You know how there's some songs that I think are just fucking brilliant and beautiful, and Jeff hates them. This is kind of the opposite for me. It's not that I hate it. I just don't. I don't. And I will go as far as say I don't even think it's necessarily a bad song. I just don't like it.
right. No, I
Yeah, plain and
understand.
simple. It's a good song.
Hmm.
I just don't care for it.
Listen to Holly Ann sometime. It's a
I
beautiful
think I
song
have,
too.
and I actually think I think I like Holly Ann. If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Holly Ann's the B side of Third Stage.
Yeah. Um. And yeah, I think Holly Ann. I prefer that one. But again, I can tell you right now, this hits all six criteria solidly.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. The next song is um. Was it "Don't Cry"? I
Nope.
can't remember. We
Gun,
had thrown this around a little.
Guns N' Roses, November Rain.
November Rain. Sorry. It was, I had Guns N' Roses listed. I was like, which one did we do? Because I know there was a talk about it. Uh, it's an American hard Guns N' Roses is an American hard rock band formed in Los Angeles, California in 1985 as a result of a merger between two local bands, LA Guns and Hollywood Rose. When they signed to Geffen Records in 1986, the band's classic lineup consisted of vocalist Axl Rose, lead guitarist Slash, rhythm guitarist Izzy Stradlin, bassist Duff McKagan, and drummer Steve Adler. Current lineup consists of Rose, Slash, McKagan, guitarist Richard Fortus, drummer Isaac Carpenter, and keyboardist Dizzy Reed and Melissa Reese. Um, November Rain is a song from American hard rock band Guns N' Roses, written by the band's lead vocalist Axl Rose. The Power Ballad was released on February 24th, 1992 in the United Kingdom and Europe as the third single from the band's third studio album, Use Your Illusion 1. The single was released in the United States on June of 92 and peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was the longest song to enter the top 10 of the charts at the time of its release because it's like 9 minutes. As of 2019, it was also the fourth longest song to enter the Hot 100 charts. Additionally, November Rain reached Number 2 on the Portuguese singles charts. First time we've talked about them. Number 4 in the UK singles charts, and the top 10 on several other music charts around the world. Um, oh, what can I say about this song? This is Spinal Tap. This is what they're making fun of. And it's not that it's musically bad, because it's not. It's not. It's really pretty, but it is so overblown. And it's like, oh my god, it's just it's Axl Rose stroking himself. If they'd have made this song 4 minutes instead of 9, I think it would have been perfect. You leave that slash solo in, but it's like, ah. And again, it's not that I think it's a bad song. I don't think it's a bad song. I think it's too fucking long. And it's too self-indulgent. That's the word I'm looking for. And I don't think it was self-indulgent from the point of Duff, who is from the Seattle area. He's a Seattle sound guy. I don't think it's from the self-indulgent from the point of Slash, who is basically like a glam guitarist, like T-Rex and David Bowie, or from Izzy Stradlin, who is a kind of a folk rock guy, or any of the rest of them. I think it's Axl Rose being told like a year previously that he was a genius by everybody, and believing, well, I say year, but for about 5 years, and believing it. So he was like, I'm gonna write this power ballad song. And from all accounts, this song, every time he got near a piano, he would play November Rain. It was beautiful. But then he recorded it, and it was like that album that he took him 10 years to make. It's just too much, if that makes sense. I'm sorry. What do you think about November Rain?
So before I go into November Rain, you're talking about long songs because it's funny. I actually had this conversation just last night. Do you know what the longest officially released song, yeah, rock song in history is?
Is it Echoes?
No. Thick as a Brick by Jethro Tull.
It's the whole album.
43 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, it's the whole album. Thick as a Brick is one whole album, both sides.
43 minutes. One
Yep.
song. One song.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's one song broken into parts. It's almost a concept album.
yeah. November Rain, this song is a masterpiece. I said I would touch on this after we talked about Home Sweet Home. I've always thought this was Guns N' Roses' answer to Home Sweet Home. There, to say, you know what, Motley Crue can do it, so can we. And much as I love Motley Crue, I give Guns N' Roses the nod for this beautiful song. Slash's guitar solo at the end is brilliant,
Oh, it's
and
beautiful.
I'm hearing it running through my head right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, same.
It's an amazing song. I love November Rain, and brilliant, brilliant song. I love it.
I do not, but not that I like all the parts to it. I just think it's too much, which is why I like Don't Cry more, because it's less. And they never made a what amazes me, November Rain, they never made a radio edit for it. I was like, if they'd have
Yeah,
made a 4 minute song of this, a 4.5, fuck, a 5 minute song of this song would be great.
yeah.
It,
No,
it's
I'm
just
good
too
on this one.
much.
I'm good on this one. I love this one.
It's too much. However, the next song in our list is perfect. It is Alone by Heart. Heart is an American rock band formed in Seattle, Washington. In 1973, the band evolved from previous projects led by founding members Roger Fisher and Steve Fossen, including the Army, Hocus Pocus, and Whiteheart. By 1975, original members Fisher, Fossen, and Ann Wilson, lead vocals and flute, along with Nancy Wilson, rhythm guitar vocals, Michael DeRossi, drummers, and Howard Lesser, guitar, keyboards, and backing vocals, formed the lineup of the band's initial mid to late 1970s success period. These core members were inducted into the 2013 induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Heart released this song as the first single from their ninth studio album, Bad Animals, in May of 1987. Their version is a power ballad that begins with a piano line and a subdued vocal from Ann Wilson, leading to a synth-led hard rock chorus. Tom Kelly, the song's co-author and himself an experienced session singer, provided the high harmony parts on the record. Wow, that's a dude! Did not know that. Alone reached number one on both the US Billboard Hot 100s and the US Cashbox Top 100s. It peaked at number three on the UK singles charts. So Heart was it was two couples originally, Roger Fisher, Steve Fossen, and Ann and Nancy Wilson. The couple split up. There was a big tumult in the early 80s, and Heart didn't do anything for 3 or 4 years. The Wilson sisters were able to get the name of the band, and they came back in 1985 with the album Heart. And then in 1987, they came out with this one. And as much as I liked the Heart album, this one kicks its ass. As I said, Alone by Heart, when you talk about power ballads, this is what we're talking about. What do you think about Alone by Heart?
This is simply a beautiful and great song. They were nominated for a Grammy for this one. I thought they won, but they didn't. This is one of their absolute best, and that's saying something because Heart has some great songs. Step back real quick. You had talked about the breakup and everything. Funny story is the band Fleetwood Mac are famous for their arguments and their fights. The album Rumors is all about it, is all about their fights. And it's just so funny. It just made me think about that because especially I've seen the meme where it says Taylor Swift likes to write songs about her exes. Yeah, that's really cute because Stevie Nicks likes to write songs about her exes and makes them sing them to her. Um,
It's true.
yes. She made Lindsey Buckingham sing a song to her about their relationships, their broken relationship. But Heart is phenomenal. They have such a great discography. You would be you would you're definitely doing yourself a disservice if you have not listened to their music because they can just simply jam.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well,
Phenomenal song.
that's the Seattle sound, the Seattle sound that we all come grunge, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That Seattle
Hmm.
sound was based around hardcore punk guys trying to sound like Heart because they're
Hmm.
based in Seattle. They play there a lot. So if you think of it in that way, they're kind of the godmothers of grunge.
Oh yeah, I could see that. I could see that. But Alone is a tremendous, tremendous song. And like I said, I think it's one of their absolute best.
Yeah, and anytime you get someone who can sing really well, cover it. Right now, there's a band called Chelsea Carter and the Heroines. They're touring the U.S. They're actually an English band, but they're all into classic rock and the rock aesthetic and everything. She covers it and sings it almost, almost as well as Ann Wilson. She's got a lot more gravel in her throat, and I think that's maybe why I like that vocal so much. Because I wish Ann Wilson had a little bit of gravel in her voice, but
Hmm.
she doesn't. She's a classically trained singer, and you can fucking tell.
Hmm.
Had she not have been in a rock band, she'd be singing opera right now.
See that?
Just fucking incredible. And fucking Nancy Wilson can play the shit out of a guitar.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, just amazing. And Alone is just one of those. And honestly, this song was overplayed as well. This song was played as much as the other songs we've talked about, and I was like, I don't like it because I heard it too much. This is the exception to that rule because it's that fucking good.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, it's a love fest for Heart right there.
Yeah.
The next song is Black Velvet by Alana Miles. Sorry, inside joke. She's a Canadian singer-songwriter, has won both Grammy and Juno Awards for the song Black Velvet. We're talking about Black Velvet. The song was a top 10 hit in Canada and a number one hit in the US Billboard Hot 100 in 1990. The song is written by Canadian songwriter Christopher Ward and David Tyson and performed by Canadian singer-songwriter Alana Miles. It was released as the second single from Miles' first studio album, Alana Miles, by Atlantic Records. It became a number one hit on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and reached number one on the Billboard album rock tracks, as well as number 10 in Miles' native Canada and number two in the UK singles charts. This power ballad also reached number one in Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland, and was a major success in several other countries. It contains blues versions with a rock chorus, or blues verses with a rock chorus. Um, Miles won the 1991 Grammy for Best Female Rock Vocal Performance on the song and the 1990 Juno Award for Single of the Year. She's won several other awards because of this song. It received extensive radio airplay. Um, but as I look at the criteria list, um, it's not. I'd say it has a bit of a cheese factor. Um, but it is not about unrequited love. It's about the love of music. She's singing about she's singing about uh down home blues rock songs. She's talking about Jimmy Rogers on a Victrola up high. That means you got a cranked up Victrola, right? As cranked up as you can, and you put the big speaker horn on it. That's what that statement means. That means you're playing that Jimmy Rogers record as loud as you can. And for those who are not in the know, Jimmy Rogers was basically the first recorded music star. He's the first rock and roll that even exists then. Um, he's the first big guy. He's the reason we have bluegrass and blues and rock and roll and all that stuff is because of the recordings that Jimmy Rogers did. All of those old guys that we think of listen to his shit because it was everywhere. Like you could go to any store and pick up a Jimmy Rogers 78. Like this one.
Can't see it.
Uh, on the background, it's a 78. It's actually a Claymore recording of a Jimmy Rogers song. It's actually not Jimmy Rogers because those 78s for Jimmy Rogers are exceedingly hard to come by now. They are very well collected. Jimmy Davis. But yeah, Jimmy Rogers, 78s. They are phenomenal. If you can find them, you should listen to them. Look at YouTube, check them out. But that's basically what she's singing about. She's singing about the love of these roots rock people. And I guess it is about love. It's about her love for
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls it Black Velvet because that's what it is. It's a new religion that'll bring you to your knees. Black Velvet, if you please. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, this is
Um,
this is another great pick for a power ballad. Power ballad. Wasn't there someone at the mini karaoke bars we went to that could just flat out belt this one out?
mhm.
I can't remember who it was, but I seem to remember there was
Cheryl.
somebody.
It was
Okay,
Cheryl. Yeah, she
just
could sing the shit out of this. She could sing out the shit out of Heart too.
yeah, this is a great one. If we've never said it before, by the way, Ziggy and I at one point we used to go to karaoke 6 days a week. The only reason we didn't go seven is because nobody had it on Mondays.
That's right. And
Um,
plus we needed sleep.
we did need sleep because we when we went, we closed it out.
Mhm.
Um,
We went right after work and closed it out.
yeah,
And then went
uh,
home and took showers
right,
and then slept.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is a really really great power ballad. She just belts it out. In this one, great song, great point on the list. Great point.
Yeah, I like it. My only problem is it wasn't really about love, but I guess it kind of was.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking about loving that music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the next song on the list is "We Don't Need Another Hero" by Tina Turner. Um, she was a singer, songwriter, and actress, and a rock icon. Her vocal prowess, raspy vocal delivery, and electrifying stage presence helped her to be dubbed the Queen of Rock and Roll. Turner rose to prominence as the lead singer of her husband and wife duo, Ike and Tina Turner. Their tumultuous marriage led to a divorce and disbanding in 1976, and she embarked on a successful solo career, becoming one of the best-selling recording artists of all time. We estimated sales of 100 to 150 million records worldwide. We Don't Need Another Hero. Thunderdome is a song written by Graham Lyle and Terry Bitton. It was recorded by Tina Turner for the soundtrack album to the 1985 film Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which also starred her on the heels of Turner's multi-platinum album Private Dancer. Um, the song was released as an edited 7-inch, with a full album version was released as a 12-inch single and on the film soundtrack album. In the United Kingdom, a shaped picture disc was also issued. The Power Ballad received a Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Original Song and Grammy Award nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance in 1986. The song received the Ivor Novello Awards for Best Contemporary Song and Best Film Theme or Song. This song isn't about love. This song is about surviving the aftermath of a nuclear winter. That's my only problem with it being in this list. Other than that, it checks every other box. Nope, that's not true. It's not cheesy.
No, no. It, this is so funny. So when she re-embarked on her solo career and started off with Private Dancer, I was not a big fan of hers. I didn't like the songs. Not that they weren't really good. I just personally didn't like them. Um, but then Tina Turner write the song for a sci-fi flick. Are you kidding me? It had been a while since I'd
That
listened to this
she's
song.
in, too, by
Yeah,
the
that
way.
she's in, yes.
She
It
plays the bad guy.
it had been a while since I listened to this song, and I almost forgot what a great voice she has.
Is it
She
all for
just
nothing?
she belts the shit out of this song. And in the video, she wears the same costume that she wore in the movie.
Yep.
Um, this is a great song. And Tina Turner's got a great discography as well. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of Private Dancer. This song, though, phenomenal. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Private Dancer. What's Love Got to Do with It is a
Yeah,
fucking banger.
I'm not a
Oh
fan of
man.
that song
Well, and
either.
what's weird is okay, so she split up from Ike in '76, right?
Hmm.
She got her shit back together. She still had quite a bit of money from some of the recordings that she did. She'd saved a little bit smartly, got it away from Ike. Um, but for that money, she ended up giving up the rights to her music. So
Yep.
all she got to keep was her name. Very famous scene in the Tina Turner story, if you've ever seen the movie with Angela Bassett as Tina Turner. So by 1980, she decides she's going to restart her career. It took her 4 years playing in Vegas, and she met her second husband, who she remained with until she passed away, um, who fucking adored her. He was her manager. He made sure she, he basically just doted on her for the rest of her life, mostly because she received a lot of abuse from Ike Turner.
Hmm.
Um, Ike Turner argues against this, but she said it. Everybody around them said it. Their
Right.
children said it. I tended to believe it. Um, so she basically is playing a bunch of Vegas shows and lounge shows, and then she gets hooked up with a couple of songwriters who are like, "Hey, we got this. You want to do rock and roll instead of blues stuff?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm more of a rock and roll person anyway." They got her onto the song. Her and he and the couple of songwriters and her again husband slash manager kind of sat down and wrote that Private Dancer record together. They took the time on it. And they released it in 1984, and she fucking took off, and could not be happier for her. But again, with this one, her vocal performance is outstanding. She's great in the fucking movie too, by the way.
Hmm.
Way better than Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's kind of mailing it in by this point.
Right.
He was tired of doing these. Um, he was way more into being the road warrior, the one before this. Um, but yeah, she just fucking takes off with it and is fucking great. They never explain how an American got to Australia either, by the way, which I thought was funny. Um,
So speaking of Tina Turner, this is so funny. Because it's a funny episode. Um, the TV show Ally McBeal, which I love that TV show. I've watched it multiple times all the way through. She's a guest star on one of the episodes. Um, this law firm is in this building, and at the bottom of the building is this bar that they all go to every night. And so very unlikely the musical guest they get in a bar, a local bar. Tina Turner is one of them. And just to think, Tina Turner in just a local bar. They get Tina Turner, they get Sting, they get Elton John. I mean, the star power
It's
that this
it's
little
it's it's like somebody got pulled over and ticketed by Roscoe, and they have to play Boar's Nest.
yes. It's a funny episode with Tina Turner, and it's one where because she does uh Proud Mary
Mm-hmm.
during that episode, which she could absolutely just belt out.
Oh
Tina
yeah,
Turner is great, and this is a great power ballad.
yeah.
I love
Again,
this one.
my only problem with it in this list is it doesn't quite fit the criteria. Because it is not cheesy at all.
Well,
It's
that's just one of the criteria. So,
yes, yes, but it's also not about love.
like I said, I think if it checks off more than
Yeah,
50% of the
I would agree. This
boxes,
is this song is just great, and people need to hear it anyway.
yep,
So
yep.
the next one definitely does tick off the power. All six of the criteria, the power ballads. It is Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne.
You think this
Close
one's
my eyes
cheesy?
forever. Yeah, it's a little cheesy.
Really?
Yeah,
Really? Okay. All right.
not Lita Ford's parts.
Okay.
Um, Lita Ford is a British American guitarist, vocalist, and songwriter. She was the lead guitarist for the all female rock band The Runaways in the late 70s and then embarked on a successful glam metal solo career that hit its peak in the late 80s. The 1989 single Close My Eyes Forever, a duet with Ozzy Osbourne, remains Ford's most successful song, reaching number 8 on the US Billboard Hot 100. God damn, I don't bless this song got that high. It is a duet by Lita and Ozzy from Ford's 1988 album Lita. The song was written by Ford and Osbourne as a result of an accident in the studio, during which they both drank heavily and inadvertently wrote the lyrics to the song together. The song is Ford's highest charting single, peaking at number 8 on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart in 1989. And number 25 on the US Billboard Album Rock Tracks chart. It also Osbourne's highest charting single of his solo career. The song was one of 4 singles from the album Lita. Um, yeah, no notes. Th-
Well,
This is this is a fucking power ballad.
absolutely. And what a great pairing for a duet power
Yeah.
ballad. They
Hmm.
kick ass with
Hmm.
this song.
Yeah.
Beautiful song. And both of them just belt it.
Yeah, they do.
Belted out hardcore for this song. This is a must listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like the 80s, man.
Yeah,
It does sound like the 80s. It's
yeah.
like, God damn. It's like, you guys had some great music. Well, we had some shit music too. But this is not one of those shit musics. This
No.
is great. Um, and again, I wouldn't include like what's that fucking band? Firehouse's Love of a Lifetime. God damn, that song sucked. That song sucked a dick. But it fits the criteria.
Right.
I don't think either one of us like that song.
No. No. I only
It's
like
it's way too oh speed wagon.
yeah, there's only one Firehouse song I really like. Trying to find the name now because I forget what it is. Uh, it is All She Wrote. I think I
Mm-hmm.
think I love All She
I don't
Wrote.
even remember that one, so I'll
Oh,
have
I
to go
love
look
that
that
one.
up here in a
Yeah, you'll
minute.
have to listen to that one. I love All She Wrote.
Um, the next one is by the Bangles. It's Eternal Flame. They're an American all-female pop rock band formed in Los Angeles in 1981. They're known for hit singles during the 80s that made them one of the most successful pop rock groups of the decade. The band's biggest commercial success included Walk Like an Egyptian, written by Prince. No, no. It became a worldwide phenomenon. Manic Monday, which was written by Prince. Sorry.
Yes.
And a cover of Simon and Garfunkel's Hazy Shade of Winter. And God damn, that's the best cover I've ever heard. Um, which was featured in the film Less Than Zero, and then their ballad Eternal Flame, which came out in 1989. It became a hit, topping the charts in several countries, and is one of their signature songs. Other hits include In Your Room and If She Knows What She Wants. The band was formed by Susanna Hoffs and sisters Vicky Peterson and Debbie Peterson. The group began as part of the Paisley underground scene, Los Angeles music movement, heavily influenced by 1960s rock and psychedelic music. Their early work blends jangly guitar melodies with power pop sensibilities. The original lineups included Hoffs, Vicky Peterson, Debbie Peterson, and Annette Zelenkus. After Zelenkus left in 1983 to focus on other projects, Michelle Steele, formerly of the Runaways, joined the bassist and vocalists cementing their classic lineup. Michelle Steele is fucking phenomenal. What's great in a documentary about them, or I think it was Behind the Music, Michelle Steele, while the band is arguing about stuff right before they broke up, Michelle Steele's like, God damn it, listen to me. I have seen this before. Please pay attention. And no one listened to her because she's in the Runaways when they imploded. She was the last bassist they had. Um, Eternal Flame is a song by American pop rock group The Bangles. It was from their third studio album, Everything. It was released in January 23rd, 1989. The power ballad was written by group member Susanna Hoffs with the establishing hit songwriting team of Billy Steinberg and Tom Kelly. So Tom Kelly, Susanna Hoffs, and Billy Steinberg. Upon its 1989 single release, Eternal Flame became a number one hit in 9 countries. It has been covered by many musical artists, including Australian boy band Human Nature, who reached the Australian top 10 with their version of it. The British girl group Atomic Kitten, who topped 4 national charts with their rendition. So anytime someone covers this, they get a hit. Um, I love the Bangles. I love that Paisley underground scene that they came from. No one else ever got out of it. So, I mean, everybody else in that scene is totally fucking underground and indie. Um, and I will talk about that scene at some point, and I'll do the Bangles. The reason that their cover for Hazy Shade of Winter is so good is because they have been playing it for 10 years before they ever recorded it.
Hazy Shade of Winter is a great song.
Yeah. But that's not the one we're talking about. We're talking about Eternal Flame. As a power ballad, yeah, it kind of hits. I don't necessarily think it's cheesy at all. Maybe a little. But Susanna Hoffs singing in it is great. So is Vicky and Debbie Peterson's, as well as Michelle Steele. They all kind of harmonize on it. Um, and they sing the tits off this song.
Yep. I love this
Um,
song. This one came out my senior year of high school. Yeah, same girl.
Same girl.
Um,
God
same girl.
damn.
Hey
Hey,
man,
sweetheart, how you doing?
power ballads were
You've been in every episode here, darling.
power ballads were big in the 80s. What can I say? You know, and that's when I was in high school.
Mhm.
So, yeah, this was my senior year, and I love this song to this day. It's a beautiful song, number one, and Susanna Hoff, she's incredible. I'm almost positive they won a Grammy for this song. I'm almost positive. I'm going to look that up. I'm almost
I
positive.
know they had a whole bunch of number ones all over the world, including here. It was a great song. Still looking?
Bum. Yeah, I'm still looking, so I'll have it here in a second because it'll have.
Yeah, I'm hearing the song now as we're talking about. And please, for the love of God, people, listen to the playlist. Please listen. Please, it makes way more sense if you hear it. Okay, you guys are done. The next song on our list, "Why Can't This Be Love" by Van Halen. They were an American rock band formed in Pasadena, California in 1973. Credited with restoring hard rock to the forefront of the music scene, Van Halen was known for their energetic live performances and the virtuosity of their guitarist Eddie Van Halen. From 1974 to 1985, Van Halen consisted of Eddie Van Halen, his brother drummer Alex Van Halen, lead vocalist David Lee Roth, and bassist Michael Anthony. Upon its release in 1978, the band's self-titled debut album reached number 19 on the Billboard 200 and sold over 10 million copies in the United States, achieving a diamond certification. They followed that up with Van Halen 2, then Women and Children First, Fair Warning, and Diver Down. All went platinum. And then they released 1984. It was released in the year of 1984. It was a commercial success with U.S. sales of 10 million copies and four successful singles. Its lead single, Jump, was the band's only number one single in the Billboard Hot 100, but everything else on that did really well. However, they had been doing a little bit of jazz stuff. David Lee Roth was did it win a Grammy?
No, it reached number one on the charts. It got awards, ASCAP, Pop Music Awards.
Songwriter Award.
They got Lifetime Achievement Grammy in 2024
Okay,
and
good. They needed
introduction in the
to.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2016. So
Yeah.
anyway,
In 1985, David Lee Roth left the band to embark on a solo career and was replaced by former Montrose lead vocalist Sammy Hagar. Um, they met because Eddie Van Halen had a Ferrari, Sammy Hagar had a Ferrari. They were both in the shop at the same time, and Eddie Van Halen was trying to figure out what he was going to do next because David Lee Roth just left the band. The reason David Lee Roth left the band is because he wanted to do more jazz and standard stuff because David Lee Roth, whatever you could say about him, dude's a music nerd.
hmm,
He's been a music nerd his whole life. He likes vaudeville, he likes jazz, he likes his album Crazy from the Heat is a bunch of fucking old standards. I think California Girls is the newest song he did. He did fucking Yankee Rose. You don't ever hear Yankee Rose. Um, but he wanted to go and do that, so he left the band because he was tired of doing um, arena rock, or I mean they were kind of hard rock at the time. So they got Sammy Hagar. Hagar joined the group, and they released four U.S. number one multi-platinum albums over the course of 11 years. They were Pt.110, OU812, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, and Ballads.
for those of you who haven't figured it out, for unlawful carnal knowledge is the acronym for fuck.
Fuck. OU812. 5150 is a police sign for someone who's criminally insane or something like that.
It's also the name of their studio.
Yeah. Uh, Why Can't This Be Love is a song by American rock band Van Halen, or as they're sometimes referred to in this period as Van
Van
Hagar,
Hagar.
with their seventh studio album, 5150, in 1986. The song was the group's first single with Sammy Hagar replacing David Lee Roth. It was released as both the 7 and 12-inch formats, with the later having an extended version featuring extra lyrics. In the US, it went to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and hit number 1 on the Cashbox Top 100 the week of May 16th. It was a top 10 hit in the UK, Australia, and Germany, and a top 20 single in Canada, the Netherlands, and Sweden. Um, and it's This
This
is a
song
fucking
is
power ballad.
this song is great. It's absolutely a power ballad. 5150 was a huge hit for Van
Yeah, it
Hagar.
was.
Van Hagar. I liked Van Hagar. They had some good stuff. Dreams was a great song that they
You
had.
loved Balance, and a lot of people did not like that album, and you were like, dude, this fucking album is
Ballads
awesome.
rock.
Yeah,
I
I didn't know a lot
love
of people who were into
Ballads.
Balance, and you were like, dude, I love Balance, and you
Yeah,
fucking played in your car. I was like, yeah, you know what? That's not fucking bad.
yeah. They
I
did
liked
some.
OU812, and most
I did
people
too.
Mm-hmm.
thought it was crazy.
No, I thought OU812. I think they did really good stuff with Sammy Hagar.
Hmm. And
Uh,
still did some jazzy stuff.
yes, yes. Um, yes, David Lee Roth went off and he did Old Standards for quite a while. Matter of fact, I think he had an album called Old Standards.
Yeah, he
Um,
did a bluegrass record too.
yeah. But this was, I mean, this was a reimagining of Van Halen because they wanted to continue. They needed a lead singer, and Sammy Hagar was able to come in, and they did some really really good stuff
Hmm.
that charted really big. And Why Can't This Be Love is a phenomenal power ballad, phenomenal.
I think it's and again, not discounting the other songs, like that Outfield album. I think this is the best song on that album. Um, the fucking keyboard and guitar. I don't even know what the fuck that sound is. That wah, 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 wah. It's a power chord,
Hmm.
but I want to say I think they're running a guitar through a keyboard. Is how they're getting that sound, and it's fucking awesome. It makes you want to get up and dance. It's about love. It's about unrequited love because he's like, why can't this be love? And he is singing the ever loving fucking tits off this song.
Hmm.
Uh, it almost sounds like they're running that fucking guitar through a Ferrari at one point. Maybe that's what they were going for because of the whole Ferrari thing. Um, but yeah, it's fucking phenomenal. And yeah, it cemented them as great. And I loved the period with Sammy Hagar. I don't
Hmm.
see anything
Agreed.
wrong with it. I like the period with David Lee Roth too. 1984 was a great fucking album.
Yes, it was.
Um, I have never heard the album with Gary Sharon.
Hmm.
Was it Gary Sharon?
I think that's right. I'm
Yeah,
sure I have. I knew Van Halen for years. I listened to Van Halen for
yeah,
years,
yeah.
and a lot of people had a lot of problems with Hagar taking over.
Yeah,
A
Van Hagar.
lot of people had a lot of
But
problems with
that was a
this.
disparaging comment by a lot of hard rock and metal guys.
Yeah.
Because Sammy Hagar wasn't really a heavy metal guy. He was more of a classic rock guy. Um, but yeah, I liked them. I thought they were fine.
Yeah. Agreed.
And what's amazing is after 5150 was released, Sammy Hagar's previous album VOA started to chart because it hadn't before. The one with I Can't Drive 55
Hmm.
on it.
Hmm.
Um, and Dick in the Dirt, which is goddamn Dick in the Dirt. Dick in the Dirt is like my favorite song of what he sang, but on his solo stuff. But yeah, it's a good one. This is definitely needs to be in the list, especially if we're talking about the '80s stuff. The next song is "Lady" by the Styx, which we mentioned as being the cornerstone of what this music style is. Uh, a lot of people list this as the first power ballad. It was by American rock band formed in Chicago, Illinois, 1972. The Styx. They're known for blending melodic hard rock guitar with acoustic guitar, synthesized mix with acoustic piano, upbeat tracks, and power ballads. Uh, they also like to incorporate elements of musical theater, which I like. The band established themselves with a progressive rock sound during the 70s and began to incorporate pop rock and soft rock elements in the 80s. The original lineup comprised Dennis DeYoung, James J.Y. Young, John C. Krulewski, and brothers Chuck and Joe Panozzo. Twins, by the way. They debuted with the Styx in 1972, and the band usually released an album every year throughout the 70s. Styx 2 had the sleeper hit Lady on it. Um, they did not have, when they released Lady, they did not have Tommy Shaw yet. Crystal Ball was the first album with Tommy Shaw, who replaced Krulewski in late 1975. So this is actually before Tommy Shaw joins the band. It is from Styx 2. Uh, Dennis DeYoung and Tommy Shaw singing this song together live, which there are several recordings of. That's where the song reaches its pinnacle because I think the two of their voices blend perfectly well together. I think Tommy Shaw's voice blends well with just about anybody. It blends really good with Dennis DeYoung's. It blends even better with Jack Blades, which is why I like the Damn Yankee song so much. It's all about the vocal performance. Um, But yeah, Lady is a 1973 power ballad written and performed by the rock band Styx. On Styx 2 is released on A&M Records in 1974 because it was originally released on Wooden Nickel Records, which was a sub-imprint of A&M. The power ballad was later re-recorded for the 1995 Styx compilation Greatest Hits due to a contractual dispute between A&M and Wooden Nickel. So they re-recorded it later on. That's usually what you hear is the one with Tommy Shaw's vocals on it. What do you think about Lady by the Styx?
It would have been a crime for this song not to be on the list.
I agree. I
Because
agree.
it is considered to be the first power ballad. Um, Lady is another one of those that you're just gonna belt out when you hear it
Yes.
in your car, singing Lady along with it. However, in saying that, if you want to have some fun, go listen to the Dan Band's version of this song.
Yeah, it's much better.
I would
And
say
it is
better, but it's funny.
it's better because again, like you said before, where I would say this is fucking lame. That's not what I'm going to say anymore. You know what I'm going to say now? Are you
Are you
Speedwagon?
Speedwagon?
Are you Speedwagon?
I love Styx. I have Styx songs in my playlist. They have some great songs. I'm even a fan of the much chagrined Mr. Roboto.
I
Um,
love Mr. Roboto. That's my
I,
favorite Stick song.
I love that song. Well, but they've got great songs. They've got Blue Collar Man,
Mm-hmm.
Renegade. Styx has a great discography, and I've seen them live in concert, sans Dennis DeYoung, um, and with Tommy Shaw back with the band. But this had to be on the list. There was no question. You could not have a power ballad list without Lady. Had
I
to be.
agree. I
Great
agree.
song.
I agree. And I really did not want to put it in. We I had made this list. Jeff's like, hey, if you're gonna do power ballads, you need to include these songs. I'm like, okay, I got some of my own. I definitely need to incorporate those two songs that I was thinking of when I originally thought of this. And we did two episodes. And Jeff's like, dude, there's like 12 of the songs we got to put in here. We need to do a third episode. And I'm like, you know what? You send me the list, and that's what we will make on this, and we will riff on that.
Yep,
Um, again, I don't mind Lady.
Lately.
I I I prefer the Tommy Shaw version of it,
Hmm.
but again, to me, the song is fucking lame. Um, it just is. The Oreo Speedwagon. I think of this
Well,
like
if you're
you
gonna do
think
that,
of
do it right. It's this. It's
this
Oreo
Oreo
Speedwagon.
Speedwagon.
Good
I think
Lord.
of this like you think of I can't fight this feeling anymore. And it's not that I think it's necessarily a bad song. I just think Dennis DeYoung's a fucking trop.
I I don't disagree with that.
And sometimes when I hear him singing, I think, what a fucking chop. And it just bothers me because he's so fucking pretentious. And
Yes.
Lady is fucking pretentious. So
Yes.
it definitely checks the cheesy box.
Yes.
Mr. Rapato, not so much.
I like Mr. Roboto.
I do too.
It's that's a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah. But you can definitely tell when you're listening to the Sticks what songs Dennis DeYoung wrote and what songs Tommy Shaw wrote.
Oh yeah.
Renegade was
Um,
written by Tommy Shaw. You can tell.
Mr. Roboto is Tommy Shaw, because they had intended that album to be a rock opera,
Yeah.
and a big stage production with that.
Yeah. And it was.
Yes.
And they incorporated their other songs into it.
Yes.
Um, the next song uh, is a Jim Steinman tune. It is A Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. Gaynor Sullivan, known professionally as Bonnie Tyler, that's right, her name is Gaynor Sullivan, because she is Welsh. She's known for a distinctive husky voice. Tyler came to prominence with the release of her 1977 album, The World Starts Tonight, and its single, Lost in France, and More Than a Lover. Her 1977 single, It's a Heartache, reached number 4 on the UK singles chart and number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100. In the 1980s, Tyler ventured into rock music with songwriter and producer Jim Steinman. He wrote Tyler's biggest hit, Total Eclipse of the Heart, the lead single from the 1983 UK chart topper album, Faster Than the Speed of Night. Steinman also wrote Tyler's other major 1980 hits, Holding Out for a Hero. Total Eclipse of the Heart is the lead single off of Faster Than the Speed of Night, released in 1983. Written and produced by Jim Steinman and recorded in 1982. Released as a single by the CBS Columbia in 1983. The song, a duet with Rory Dodd, became Tyler's biggest career hit, topping the UK singles charts, and became the fifth best-selling single in 1983 in the United Kingdom. In the United States, the single spent 4 weeks at the top of the charts, keeping another Steinman penned song, Making Love Out of Nothing at All, by Air Supply from reaching the top spot. A song Tyler would later cover in 1995. Her cover of that is fucking exceptional, by the way. It's the number 6 song of the year in 1983. It was nominated for a Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. An accompanied music video was directed by Russell Mulcahy and filmed in Surrey, England. So if the video gives a Highlander feel, it's because he was fucking working Highlander out while he was making that video. Total Eclipse of the Heart, no notes. This is a power ballad. There is a another version of it, and I'm not sure if where it shows up. Where she's singing and one of the lines is replaced with, and as they closed the casket, I cried. And we went to your funeral and sang your favorite songs. It's like, God damn. I wish they would have released that. um, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Um, they filmed it in the same castle they filmed a bunch of old Cure videos in too, in Surrey, in England. What do you think about Total Eclipse of the Heart?
I love Total Eclipse of the Heart. I love Bonnie Tyler. I always tease about this video for Total Eclipse of the Heart. A lot of it is set in a factory where apparently they are manufacturing sparks. Um, that's what they're making there.
They're making
Uh,
sparks.
but this is a great song. It's definitely a power ballad. And was a beautiful song. And she has some absolute
Yeah,
chops, absolute
it's it's
chops.
it's this song is still emotionally moving. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
amazes me about this one. It's like you listen to this, this motherfucker a couple times in a row, and your eyes start to get wet. It's like, God damn. Um, and I don't know how much of that is Jim Steinman because everything I've ever heard by Jim Steinman I find emotionally moving, or Bonnie Tyler because It's Hard, it's also emotionally moving, and Jim Steinman didn't write that motherfucker. Um, but yeah, it's like the two of them together got the fucking version with the and as they close the casket and I cried. It will
Mm-hmm.
get you there, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Be careful.
Yep.
Um, yeah, yeah. The song again. This is another one that's probably a little long. I don't think it's not as long as November Rain. But it does not go on too long. It's just beautiful the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple of
Yep.
versions of it where it's, a little longer or a little less. But I would say get the whole feel. Um, the Rory Dodd refrain, "Turn around, bright eyes," where he is fucking hitting notes with, I'm assuming, vice grips, because that's a man singing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's just taking and just twisted. Um, and then her singing that low growly, grumbly, husky voice underneath. Jesus fucking Christ. Um, that's why the '80s were awesome. Is because shit like Bonnie Tyler. um,
Agreed.
yeah. Um, she's actually a native Welsh speaker.
Uh-uh.
That's why her accent's so thick. Yeah, yeah. She's part of the Wales where they still speak of the Welsh or the Cymry. Because Welsh is actually derogatory. Um, the next song on our list.
Hang on, before you get there, I have to backtrack 1 second because I was looking up something and I found this interesting. Before the likes of Lollapalooza and things like that, and what is the other big one that's out now that
Bonnaroo,
happens every year? Bonnaroo. Um, Back before that, back when we were teenagers, there was Texas Jam.
Texas Jam.
And I was reading this about Styx. Kilroyers here brought the creative and competitive tensions within the band beyond the breaking point. This was further exasperated following the band's performance of the Kilroy show at Texas Jam. I did not know that. Yeah.
Texas
Um,
Jam was a hard rock show.
Yes, and it talks about it. It's Texas Jam, which was an all-day multi-band rock festival held at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. While most other acts on the bill in comparison put forth their quote hardest rockers, the theatrics of Kilroy's show were not well received, and they were basically booed off the stage. And this is why Tommy Shaw left the band
Because they got
because of
booed
that.
off at Texas Jam.
Yes,
Huh.
I did not know
Which
that.
Texas Jam was it? We don't have it anymore, by the way.
No, we don't. We haven't had it in years. Well, I mean, it had to be the 83 or 84 Texas Jam,
Yeah. And I think we stopped doing it, what, like 86? When that, like the last year?
something like that.
86 or 87?
I can I can link 88.
88. Wow. I didn't
Um,
realize it went that
and
long.
so let's see. The year
But
for
that,
Sti
but The Texas Jam got harder and harder and harder the longer it went
Dude,
on.
dude, 1979, PKO, don't know. Sammy Hagar, Nazareth, Van Halen, Heart, Boston, and Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh
Holy
yeah, nice.
shit.
Yeah,
Nine
Texas Jam was awesome.
1979 also, Rush, Foghat, Pat Travers, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Billy Thorpe, Little River Band, Point Blank. Uh, I'm looking now, so hold on, give me a second. 1983, and it was Styx, Sammy Hagar, Triumph, Ted Nugent, and Uriah Heep. Yeah, Styx doesn't fit in that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe with Uriah Heep, but I don't know. Yeah, they're fucking super where they break down and they talk to each other.
God, man, they had some great lineups. Metallica was there in '88, the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
one.
Like I
That was
said,
the
that
Monsters of Rock.
yeah, Monsters of Rock basically took over the Texas Jam, and it just was.
Huh. Monsters of Rock. So, Monsters of Rock in '88, it was Van Halen, part of their OU 812 tour.
Mhm.
Scorpions, Dokken, Metallica, and Kingdom Come. And the admission price, $25.
$25 for the Monsters of Rock tour. Yep,
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay,
yep.
sorry, didn't mean to backtrack, but I saw that and oh my God, the 1978 one, Walter Egan, Van Halen, Eddie Money, Atlanta Rhythm Section, Ted East, Journey, Hart, Ted Nugent, Aerosmith, Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush, Cheech and Chong,
Mhm.
$12.50.
$12.50. God, that's a Texas Jam. But he was fucking hot as shit.
Texas Jam was oh yeah, because it was an
Hot
outdoor
as shit. two
festival.
dollar beers, but you know.
Anyway, I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's fine. The next song is Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. It is an American heavy metal band. It was formed in Los Angeles in 1981 by vocalist and guitarist James Hetfield and drummer Lars Ulrich, and has been based in San Francisco for most of its career. The band's fast tempos, instrumental, and aggressive musicianship made them one of the founding big four bands of thrash metal alongside Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. Um, they got rid of Dave Mustaine and got Kurt Hammett, and Cliff Burton became their bass player for a long time. He passed away. They replaced him with Jason Newsted, who eventually got replaced by Robert Trujillo. Nothing Else Matters is a power ballad by American heavy metal band Metallica. It was released in 1992 as the third single from their self-titled fifth studio album, Metallica, also known as the Black Album. The song peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Mainstream Rock Tracks chart, charting number 6 on the UK singles chart, number 1 in Denmark, and reached the top 10 on many other European charts. Recognized as one of Metallica's best known and most popular songs, it has become a staple in live performances.
Who would have expected a power ballad from Metallica?
Yeah, nobody saw that coming.
No, no.
But a
This
lot of
song,
people, there was okay, so there are a lot of Metallica fans think stopped listening to them when they released this because
I
again,
know,
They they were a thrash band. They moved from LA to San Francisco so they could be a thrash band.
right?
Um,
This song kicks some serious ass and really shows the massive talent these guys have.
yeah,
Really
it's
does.
so a lot of people point out that this period in music um, was a sea change. It was like late '91 and going into 1992, and I think within 6 months you get this album,
Hmm.
Use Your Illusion 1, Use Your Illusion 2. You get Nevermind. You get 10 by Pearl Jam. You get Bad Motor Finger by uh, Soundgarden. They had released the Temple of the Dog album, and Apple was finally released by Mother Love Bone. All of these records were released within 6 months of each other, and it was a sea change in music. And it started with a thrash band like Metallica because their last album had charted fairly well and they'd slowed down a little bit. And Justice for All, um, it was not as heavy as Kill 'Em All or Ride the Lightning, but it
Hmm.
was still pretty fucking heavy. They released this album and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Right.
It's because they got tired of trying. They were trying to play fucking faster and faster and faster. You're never gonna play as fucking fast as some of those thrash bands we've covered. Um, Slayer is always going to be faster. Um, They just are. Um, but if you got something to say, fucking say it. And they did, and I applaud them for it. But a lot of Metallica fans do not like the song. Where'd you go?
I'm here.
Okay. What do you think?
It's like I said, this song kicks ass. It shows what talent they had. I love this song. I hate that Metallica fans went away from them for this. This is great, and it belongs in this list.
I agree. I agree. This is good. It hits for the power ballads.
Yep.
The last song on the last list is Beth by Kiss. And this was when they talk about power ballads. This is one of the songs that's in conversation of, oh yeah, you had Lady by the Styx and Beth by Kiss. That's basically what kicked this whole power ballad thing off.
hmm
So we included it. I'm not a huge fan of the song. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's all right.
For Kiss fan, well, let me start off. Let me say that. Just like Lady, it would have been a crime for this one not to be on the list.
Exactly.
This
Exactly.
is one of the first power ballads. For Kiss fans, Peter Criss became a god with this
Uh-huh.
song.
Yeah.
Um, just belts it. Beth is a love song, and most Kiss fans love Beth. Just it's phenomenal and absolutely had to be in this list. I would have quit the show.
Yeah, it definitely needed to be in the list. Again, Jeffrey came up and was like, you're talking about power ballads. We got to talk about the beginnings of it. And I'm like,
Yep,
what, like Lady and like Beth? Come on.
yep.
And he's like, no, they have to be in it. He sent me a list. I'm like, you know what? You're right. We need to do a third episode of this. So Kiss, commonly styled as Kiss, was an American rock band formed in New York City in 1973 by Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss. Known for their face paint and stage outfits, the group rose to prominence in the mid 70s with shock rock style live performances, levitating drum kits, pyrotechnics, fire breathing, blood spitting, smoking guitars, shooting rockets. Um,
Go back on that real quick. So for those of you who are not aware, um, the reason Kiss donned the makeup is these four little Jewish guys from what, Jersey, New York?
in New York.
Which New York?
Well, technically, Gene Simmons or Chaim is from Haifa
But
in
nobody was
Israel.
nobody was buying them
No,
as a serious hard rock band.
no.
And so they donned the makeup, they donned the
Yes,
theatrics, and suddenly
yes,
people are like, "Oh my God, these
yeah.
guys are fucking phenomenal."
These guys are fucking phenomenal, and they
And
wore it for a long time.
oh yeah, it was a huge piece of controversy when they took the masks off because they wouldn't even appear in public
Nope.
as Kiss without the makeup.
Yep.
The funny thing is, though, once they put the makeup back on, there was a new controversy of fans that are like, "Well, why'd you put it back on?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was both sides of that. Um, Kiss, Kiss was first and foremost a theatrical band. They put on a show.
Yeah.
They've done their final show now. It is their absolute final. Mike from Two Geeks and a Microphone, he saw it before I did, and talked about it. Gene Simmons cried at the end of
Yeah.
it because they all knew it was over after. I mean, what that was just last year, the year before
Yeah.
that they did
And they
their
started out in
final.
1973.
Yeah.
I was born in 1973. I'm almost 52. So yeah.
So yeah. Th this song had to be on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely had to be on the list. We could not have a complete power ballad episode and not include Beth.
Yeah. It is on the Destroyer album.
hmm
It has been credited to drummer Peter Criss and his friend Stan Petridge and produced by Bob Ezrin. Uh, Beth was published as a single by Casablanca Records in August of 1976 after releasing it as the B-side for Detroit Rock City. Beth is Kiss's biggest commercial hit in the United States, reaching number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100, receiving a gold record certification from the RIAA and winning the 1977 People's Choice Awards for favorite song. Uh, yeah, and Peter Criss, the drummer, is the one who sang it because he's the one that wrote it.
Yep.
Him and his his friend Chris Penridge, and then Bob Ezrin rewrote it, and there's some controversy on who actually wrote this fucking song. I still say it's Peter Criss because it sounds like him. If you've ever heard him speak, that's his voice. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Now, I don't mean like the cadence and the way he talks is Beth.
Hmm.
Um, he's a very unassuming, quiet man.
Yeah. They're, they're none of them are anything like their on-stage personalities.
No.
They're all very, from everything I have read, they are all very generous, accommodating people who
Mm-hmm.
are extremely nice. Gene Simmons is probably the only one who is a little outlandish
Yeah.
outside of the makeup from
Yeah.
all of them, but most of them are very down to earth guys.
Okay. I am not surprised by that. Gene Simmons still gets freaked out when he goes to the grocery store.
Yes.
And the reason being, he is the son of two Holocaust survivors from Hungary. He
Hmm.
was born in Haifa, Israel. His dad went out to go get milk when he was like 3 and never came back. So his mom gathers him up, um, and they, they were already multilingual. They spoke in their home. They spoke modern Hebrew, which is what they speak in Israel at the time, English, and Hungarian because they were from Hungary originally. Scoops him up, takes him to New York City, and they were, how did he put it? Uh, Almost starving, which is why when he goes into the grocery store, he's still fucked up because there's so much food and it freaks him the fuck out. That is why Gene Simmons is the way he is. He
Hmm.
became a rock star because he thought, this is the best job I can have because I have to work. I have to work for the rest of my life until I die because that's the way he thinks. Um, so I will get a job that I enjoy doing so I don't mind doing it the rest of my life. That's why I became a rock star for that reason and that reason alone. Um, and once you understand that, his shit makes more sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, poor guy.
Kiss has had some great moments on TV. They were I think it was the whole band. It may have just been Gene Simmons, but I think it was the whole band. Did a guest appearance on that '70s show,
Uh huh.
which is hysterical. But one of the greatest things I've seen them do. I used to watch American Idol all the time. I loved it for many years. I've stopped watching since, but anyway, uh, the year Adam Lambert won. I didn't like Adam Lambert. I thought he was pretentious. I thought he was a dick. And I did not like him. I've come to find out since he intentionally acted that way to stand out. He's not really that way, but for his final performance or for the final night, for the final night, they do I think 3 songs. I think they do a song the judges pick, one of their own that they pick, and then a what's going to be basically be released as their solo if should they win, or their first song should they win. Anyway, for his little choice, he chose Kiss, and Kiss came out and performed with him, and
Oh,
that was
nice. What
incredible.
song did he do?
I would need to look it up.
Yeah, it's fine.
Adam Lambert with his
Yeah, it's okay, man.
American Idol.
It's
It's all
not
right.
that important.
I'm already typing.
All right.
They did a medley. They did a medley.
Okay.
I couldn't remember, but yeah, it was great, and that just kind of to me just showed a lot of what Kiss is about. I think they're very welcoming. I think I from everything I've read, they are really nice guys. So anyway, there's that.
Well, that is it for Power Ballads. 3 episodes. What do we figure out? Like 38 songs, something like that.
Something like that. I think, if, unless I miscount in there. Yeah, so near 40 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Final tally for me is 8 songs on these 3 episodes that I did not like, on this 3 episode spectacular
That's right.
that
And
I
so
did
out of
not
the
like.
38, you liked 30 of them.
Yes.
Okay,
Pretty good,
good.
pretty good, pretty good numbers there. It was so much fun listening to these lists. I loved it. Go out on YouTube, see our playlist for that. All three are out there. And see why some of these power ballads, except for REO Speedwagon, um,
Oreo
are
Speedwagon.
are so good. Just check them out. Check out the list. Excellent, excellent. I had so much fun with this list. I thank you for that, and thank you for 3 episodes with that.
Sure.
All right. With that, we will step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
For today, I got my information off Wikipedia, BBC News, Pete Early website, CNN, All That's Interesting, and Medium.